You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, Sanbonani, Bonjour. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show on this Tuesday, the 11th day of November. I hope you're well this morning. Always appreciate you joining us on 702. The 702 open line starts right now, this hour on 011-883-0702. The number to dial, that's the one. The number to send your WhatsApp voice notes to is 072-702-1702. Here's a question. Do you think what Solidarity has done is the correct thing? And do you think that it is patriotic? If you haven't seen the story, this lobby group has placed an ad on Johannesburg's M1 labeling South Africa as the most race-regulated country in the world. So the advertisement has now been removed by the Johannesburg Metro Police Department, we are told, and Solidarity has now threatened legal action following that removal. And their argument is that they paid for this banner to be on this wall on the road leading to the G20. And they believe that this is a way of protesting against race-based laws. And I wonder what you think of how they've chosen as a manner of protest, especially during this important time where we're hosting these G20 leaders. I mean, they're going to be powerful, important leaders arriving in Johannesburg in a couple of days. And that is the road that's leading to the G20 venue. And what Solidarity is upset about is that they've paid for the advertising space. They've followed all the necessary procedures to run their awareness campaign. And now the JMPD have decided to remove this banner. And I still don't understand why the JMPD have decided to remove that banner. And listen, I obviously, and I've said this before, I've spoken to Solidarity about this. They believe that this country is race regulated. They clearly have no sense of the need to correct the injustices of the past. They don't understand, or they choose not to see how this country has been impacted, particularly the black majority in this country, by what has happened during apartheid, and they want the status quo to continue. So black people, just be participants of the economy, don't be owners of the economy. Oh, companies that still are not hiring women, even white women, black people, that's fine. Let's keep it that way, because that's how it's always been designed to be. You don't think there's a need for us to be intentional about transformation? So that's always been their sense. And at some point, you've just got to agree to disagree, because you're never going to get them to see the reasons why we've got the laws that we have in this country. That, by the way, if you look at our constitution, that gives you a sense of the green light that those laws even get from the very essence of our constitutional values. So I am not agreeing with Solidarity about this, but I do have questions about why the JMPD would choose to remove this ad. And on what basis are they removing it? And if you understand that, I would like you to just help me here. Give me a call on 011-883-0702. There's a banner. It's a long banner. And it says the most race-regulated country in the world. It's a long banner. And this is placed on the road that's leading to the G20 venue. So the people that will be coming here to attend the G20 summit will probably take sight of this banner. You can disagree all you want with what Solidarity says in that banner. The additional question I'm asking is, why has the Johannesburg Metro Police removed it? I've asked the producers to get a hold of the JMPD, and they did. We're still waiting to see if they can speak to us. But part of what they've told the producers is that they don't know why their own officers removed the banner. And I'm hoping the spokesperson can come and confirm that with us, because he says he doesn't know. They all admit that Solidarity has gone through all the processes of paying for this advertisement, but the spokesperson of the JMPD doesn't know why JMPD officers actually removed it. He's still trying to figure that out. That is also problematic. Because what are the internal processes that were followed to review this ad? I mean, if, for instance, they thought this ad violated certain regulations or it violated people's human rights, whatever argument you would want to place, wasn't this supposed to be picked up during the time when Solidarity was applying to have this banner on that wall and they were paying money for that? So they've woken up too late and now they just want to remove it because, it's embarrassing. There must still be a process that is followed. That's my view. What's yours? Give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note. And what do you think of Solidarity's actions? Do you think they're being unpatriotic? I think there's no question about that. But they've got every right to do this. I mean, it's clear these are the collaborators who betrayed this country for Donald Trump. Their intentions have always been clear. But isn't this a time for us to rally together like we did during the World Cup? Because there are some people who believe the issues that we have as a country, we sort of have to park them because there's an important event, global event taking place in this country. Yes, there's no unity. Yes, we've got issues here and there. But is this the moment to mask it, or is this the moment to also protest about it?
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
David, you calling us from Centurion. Good morning.
Yes, I think for me, the way I view it, AfriForum and Solidarity, they're just agitators. And I think doing it at this time where there's a G20, it just reveals what the intentions are. And I think it's about time that we stop being apologetic about transformation. I think we've done that too much. And it has allowed fringe groups like Solidarity and AfriForum to capitalize and hold us ransom. So I do believe that even the statement of saying that South Africa is the most race-regulated, it's false news. And as a result, the Metro Police had a right to remove those signs there. And I don't feel like, there's any leg that they've got to stand on. I think, I'm just literally holding myself because I'm pissed off. I'm really, really angry that, all our goodwill that we've shown these people, all our forgiveness that we've shown these people has literally been thrown in our face. They're literally spitting on our faces for the kindness that we've showed them post-apartheid, considering what the hardships and the atrocities that they committed against us.
So you're referring to solidarity, when you say they?
I'm referring to these fringe groups that are really trying to capitalize on this. Because, I mean, if you look at, for example, what Donald Trump did when he went into power, he wasn't apologetic about the changes that he wanted for his country, and he did it regardless.
As illegal as they may be, and as unfair as we may find them to be, and for some reason he wants to dictate to us how to run our country. David, I think I agree in the most part with what you're saying around solidarity and even the messaging. My additional question, though, is on what basis is the Johannesburg Metro Police removing that banner? Because it can't be because, it's irritating, solidarity is being ridiculous. They must still be able to say to us, okay, this violates the Advertising Act, whatever it is that they think this banner violates. At this stage, we don't know. Even the spokesperson is telling us that, I don't know why this thing was removed. So we need to understand that. And for me, once I've got them on air, I'm able to ask them, when did they pick up that this banner violates certain acts? When? Because when someone says, if Clement says, hey, I want to advertise, approaches an agency of the city of Johannesburg and says, I want to advertise something on this wall. As an agency, you've got to ask, okay, what do you advertise? If I'm saying there's going to be a message on a long banner that says, kill all the black people, for instance, and then you say, okay, cool, you pay, and then you go put up a banner that says, kill the black people. And then JMPD sees that, and they want to come and say, let's remove that because it's weird. I still want to ask, what agency approved this banner? And that's not the response that we're getting. I don't think that just because things are done wrong, we've got any latitude and carte blanche to do as we please. There are still processes that must be followed. Because otherwise, David, next time, the DA is going to be the one that puts up a banner there, and the JMPD is just going to rip it off because they work for a city that's run by the ANC. We don't want to get to that point.
Yeah, I think for me, just my last 2 cents, I don't feel like that statement that they're putting there is factual, for one. And based on that, the JMPD has got a right to remove that because, if they can give us the facts of proving, because all these things will ultimately be proven to court, I'm assuming, but if they can give us factual evidence that South Africa and all this entire world is the most race-regulated country in the world, then it's fine. Then we can have a separate discussion. But they always throw these statements, in the public. And obviously, if you throw something, it sticks. And in future, even if it's disproved, the damage is already done. So I think they're calculating on the fact that even if we ultimately prove them wrong, because that's the tactic that the AfriForum has used before, they say very inflammatory statements, and then later when they questioned against those statements that they've said, they said, no, we did not. They start backtracking. But what they know is that the damage is already done. This is already out there in the public, and there's nothing that we can do about it.
Yeah. David, in Centurion, thank you so much for your thoughts. Does anybody know which agency deals with the advertising space in the city of Johannesburg? Does anybody know? Please help me with that, because I'm trying to figure out what the process was followed here. If we're saying that this statement is not factual, isn't that something that the agency that approves the advertising space in these campaigns was supposed to pick up already? And what is the involvement of the Johannesburg Metro Police in that? Do they work together with the agency? Is it the agency that told them, go remove that banner? Were there complaints? We need to understand that process. Once again, I don't agree, not even for a second, with what is posted on that banner. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's actually quite offensive. I think it's not factual. But I'm also wondering what happens next time when there's a political party or there's actually an honest group that puts up an awareness campaign there, and because the party in charge in the city doesn't like it, then they tell JMPD, go rip it off. We don't want to get there. I still think no matter how much you hate solidarity, no matter how much you may disagree with the message on that banner, we must still understand what process was followed for that banner to be removed. Pat, you're in Johannesburg. Good morning.
Morning, Clement.
Hey, Tada.
Or should I say Locha?
Lochani, Pat. Lochani.
Agwande. I just want to comment on the Solidarity billboard.
Yes.
Because I'm in the advertising, media space.
Mm-hmm.
So usually what happens is that each site where there's a billboard, there will be a media owner. So there's a high chance that JMPD had no sight of this billboard before it was even installed, because the media owner has right which ad gets put up there. So my thinking is that it could be that also, I'm not sure if you are aware, about 80% of the billboards in Johannesburg are illegal. So they're in sites where they're not supposed to be, but that's a topic for another day. It could be that they removed it because it's on an area that's not approved by the city. That could be an argument. Or two, it could be because it's false advertising, and obviously there's some sort of legal grounds just around false advertising or sharing fake news.
Where are the regulators, Pat? Shouldn't there be a regulatory body that
there should be
works in this environment?
Ideally, but as you know, in South Africa, I mean, we've had stories of media owners, bribing city officials to get their their billboards installed in illegal areas. So there's also that notion around just out-of-home advertising in general, in particularly in Johannesburg. So, yeah, it's a very tricky one, but in my view, it could be that billboard, there's a high chance that it was installed on an illegal site. Number two, it could be that the CT or JMPD had no sight of this thing, and there's no chance that they could have even interacted with Solidarity at any point, even though it could have been on a legal thing, because there's an agency that does that. There's a media owner that's also involved. So the question should be who the media owner is of that particular site, who then accepted that money from Solidarity.
Yeah, Pat in Joburg, thank you so much for that. James, you are also in Johannesburg. Good morning. What are your thoughts?
Morning, Clement. How are you?
Sure, man. Go ahead.
Clement, look, a person has no right to call fire in the theater, with the purpose of causing stampede. The question really is not whether or not AfriForum has a right to protest, or they have the right to, they've paid, so therefore they must be compensated. The question really is, the message that they're sending, is it accurate? The message is not accurate and the content is wrong. And what are they doing? They're sending the wrong message to the world about falsehoods. So the MPD and authorities, they've got the right to protect people, against that propaganda. Because if I see that, I'll be offended, because I'll be asking myself, are we having government? Are we allowing such things to happen? To understand. So for me, I think that, we need to push back against AfriForum. They're provoking us, they're the privileged group of white people. They've got money, they're rich. Black people have got nothing to show for 30 years into the democracy. If anything, things are going from bad to worse. And then we cannot allow them to take everything. And also to win on the narrative that, they are oppressed, they are suffering, whereas they continue to be rich. Actually, I can even argue, Clement, that this dispensation has benefited them more than black people, to understand. So what they're doing, they're provoking black people. It doesn't mean that because the ANC is corrupt and we're not happy with the ANC, we're necessarily going to cave towards their racism. It's not going to happen. And they're provoking black people, And then this thing, Clement, is very much provocative. And then people are very angry with AfriForum as it is right now. And then, so the authorities have done well to remove it, just to create some form of harmony between people. Because we are angry as Africans. We have lost everything. We're also losing the narrative that once upon a time there was oppression, there was colonialism, there was imperialism, and we're left with nothing. And now this, no, it can't be. Clement.
Yeah, and James, I don't know how long we are going to have to explain why we've got policies around race in this country, even after apartheid. Because I actually don't think that people are, for lack of a better word, stupid not to understand the reason why those laws exist. And the basis there is also always the Constitution, right? So I think that people have chosen not to believe that. They've chosen a completely wrong narrative of why we have such laws. They always mention affirmative action. They always mention broad-based black economic empowerment. And they say these are packaged in beautiful words like equality, equity, inclusivity, but they are racial laws that don't work. That's the narrative that they have chosen. But how many times are we going to tell them that the reality is that despite significant gains since 1994, the legacy of apartheid is still present economically and spatially, which has contributed to South Africa being one of the least equal countries in the world. I mean, black South Africans, we make up over 80% of the over 62 million odd population. But they are burdened with the lingering inequalities of the past. So when you have laws such as Employment Equity Act, if you've got laws such as the Preferential Procurement Policy Framework Act, the Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment Act, they have sought to balance the scales. But they choose not to understand that. So I don't know how long we're going to have a debate with them about that. I mean, the Constitution as a whole should be a transformatory document. The Constitution appreciates that there's a need to correct the systematic injustices of the past and not entrench any economic model or the status quo. Because we live in an unequal society that has to be changed to bring about equality and to advance human rights. The Constitution was designed to protect rather than to restrict even the adoption of affirmative action measures. So I even get tired of talking to them because it ends up in that debate, and you are having a debate with people that have chosen the alternative narrative. It's like Donald Trump. Donald Trump has made up his mind. There are white people in this country that are facing a genocide. He doesn't have evidence. Nobody has evidence of that. Even the very same Solidarity and AfriForum tell Trump that they've said publicly, there's no genocide of white people in this country. Donald Trump will not change his narrative. And equally so, Solidarity has chosen this narrative. And I don't know where that's going to lead us. Do we accept that, well, they're part of our society, they're going to irritate us with their lies about this country and its policies, and we move on? Or should we accept to be agitated and irritated and always try to counter their narratives? Oh, it's 9:33. Let's get the latest tonight with this news headline. Sean, Amando, I see your calls. The producers are also telling me that we've managed to get a hold of the JMPD. So I'll bring them up after the latest Now Witness news so that we can understand how the decision was taken for this banner to be removed. All of that coming up after the news.
Your station.
Your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
20 minutes before 10 o'clock. This is the 702 open line, and we're taking your calls on 011-883-0702. We've been talking about this ad by Solidarity. They've placed an ad on the M1 in Johannesburg labeling South Africa as the most race-regulated country in the world. And the advertisement has now been removed, and we're told that that has been removed by the Johannesburg Metro Police Department, and Solidarity is now threatening legal action following this removal. Xolani Fihla is the spokesperson for the JMPD joining us on the line. Xolani, thanks for your time. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Did you, as the JMPD, remove this banner, and on what basis?
Thank you once again, Clement. One thing that's important to know that through the city of Johannesburg, we've got various bylaws that regulate how the city works, and one of these bylaws is outdoor advertising bylaws. And for one person who wants to advertise whatever signage that they need to do, they need to apply through the city. And that then has to be regulated and checked if it is okay and the process has been followed. And then payment then needs to be done for the advertisement to be put up. And with this particular one, obviously you have to go through the Department of Development Planning with the outdoor advertisement unit, and then they'll give you the full process. And with the information that we do have at the present moment is that the signage was not applied for to the city of Johannesburg, and also the city of Johannesburg has the prerogative to decide what kind of messages then should be put up on whatever public space that is within the city of Johannesburg, and that's the reason why the signage was removed. There was no application, and also the city has a prerogative of what type of messages should be put up.
Okay, so they're lying then when they're saying that they've paid for the advertising space, they've followed the necessary procedures to run this campaign.
On our side, we don't have that information from them. And if they do have any type of paperwork that says the contrary, then let them bring forward and we'll take it further.
Okay, so so would they have applied to the agency, well, the department that you have referred to, or would they have to interact and interface with the Johannesburg Metro Police as well?
No, they have to apply through the outdoor advertising unit. And once that is approved, or if it's not approved, then the JMPD is called in for any type of enforcement for outdoor advertising.
Okay, so what was that department you mentioned as well that they would have to speak to?
It's the Department of Development Planning, and the actual unit is outdoor advertising unit.
Okay, and you've spoken to the Department of Development Planning. They told you that they don't have any
I spoke to the unit of outdoor advertising, and they have confirmed that they haven't received any type of application.
Okay, so these people just mounted this long banner without having followed the process.
It happens a lot, and especially on that piece of route, either just at Wits University or just after towards Oxford Road. We usually find people who put up signages there without proper compliance with the city of Johannesburg.
Okay.
It's not the first one.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Xolani Fihla, JMPD spokesperson, thank you for speaking to us. And also, just to check, what are the sanctions for doing something like this? So if people are putting up all of these ads, they're using advertising space illegally, because it is illegal if they've not applied and went through the normal processes. What are the consequences for that? Do you just rip apart their banners, or can there be sanctions here?
Consequences and sanctions, of course, is either through fines, and material and tools used then can be impounded.
Okay. Xolani Fihla, JMPD spokesperson, thanks for making time for us. I think what we'll do is also bring in solidarity and ask them why they have put up this banner without following the process. Their argument is that they've followed every single process and they've made the payment. I'd like to see the evidence of that, because somebody here is not telling us the truth. It's 15 minutes now before 10 o'clock.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
Amando, you're in Kempton Park. What are your thoughts? Hi. Hi, Amando.
Hey, good afternoon. Sorry, good morning. Jeez, love.
Sure, go ahead.
Look, man, I think the sign, whether it's legal or whether it's illegal, was incorrect to put it up there. There's a time and a place for everything. When you divorce your wife, you don't put in the Star newspaper, I want to divorce you. I think whether it's right or whether it's wrong, there's a time and a place. But Clement, in this whole thing, when we're talking about the BEE and affirmative action and all of that, as a white guy in South Africa, 58 years old, that runs a business, I just need everybody to know that me and all my mates who are in business today would welcome any day that every single black person in South Africa is well paid. And that is because every day there are hundreds, if not thousands, of black people that walk past my business with only 5 rand in his pocket. And I wish he had 7,000 rand so he can walk in and spend it with me. So that the 140 black staff that I employ every single month can get paid better and better, and the business can thrive. So listen to this. We as whites, me and my mates, want you and all black people to please prosper, because the side effect of that prosperity is spending money with me. I don't know how people could even think that white people don't want black people to prosper, because we, the business owners, we do much better. We buy nicer cars, we buy bigger homes, we live nicely. So why on earth would I be so bloody stupid to want to keep a black guy in the dorm rooms? And I want to tell you another thing. On our one caller of the week, when Jerry Chris Williams was still hosting a show, I phoned him and I said, listen, one of the things that's happening to white people today, the young boys that are 22 and 20, and you must listen to this because this is scary. The 23 or 24-year-old goes out who tries to find a job, say the post office or government position, maybe a big corporate. They say, I'm sorry, you're a white guy. We have to have a 75% black quota. The white guy then leaves. He goes, you know what? I'm going to go hungry. So what he does is he somehow starts a small business. And before he knows it, he's employing 15 or 20 black guys. He's 26 years old. He's driving an M4, where in my day when I was 24 years old, I was walking. There was no way that it was going to happen. And so what you're finding today is the young white guys are forced into business and then realizing they're actually quite good at it. And that is why I asked the question today when I go into businesses. I go, who owns this? Who owns this petrol station? Who owns this pizza place? Or that hardware shop? It's always a white guy. But all the very, very wealthy black guys are all politicians. And I'm saying, why does Vumsimsi not own the pizza shop? And Chabalala, why does he not own the hardware shop and create those jobs? And this is what gets to me.
Yeah, and of course, there are Chabalalas who own that. I've got black friends who own very successful businesses. I've got people I consider as mentors who are black, successful business people. But I get your point, Amando, that, you are saying as a white person, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to see a black person prosper. Absolutely. And I'm glad to hear that. But getting to that prosperity is not just going to come. You need legislation to get there. We were the most racist country probably in the world at some point during apartheid. Why? Because there were laws. Apartheid was legislated. Black people, not because they were terrible human beings, just because of the color of the skins, they were deprived of opportunities. I've got family members who are uneducated, who grew up in the villages because they were dispossessed of their land and they never had a chance to at least work towards bettering their lives. And we are the generation. Many of us are coming from families where we're the first generation that begins to have a job, to go to university. And I'm saying, because there were laws that legislated apartheid and deprived black people from opportunities, in this time of our lives, we are going to need laws that are going to reverse that engineering. Because things were engineered to be this way. And if they're going to continue this way, this country is not going to see peace. It's not. So what is it going to take? It's not going to take us being so kind and saying, oh, we want everybody to prosper. It's going to take legislation being implemented. What legislation has been implemented? Well, that's why we've got affirmative action. Sim Chabalala will tell you, this is one of the most successful group CEOs of one of the most leading banks on the continent. He didn't get a job just because he's black. He got it because he's bloody talented and he knows what he's doing. And that's a man who got that opportunity through affirmative action. And the problem I have is often we want to criticize, rightly so. You can criticize BBE, you can criticize what happens with affirmative action, but please remember that there are people whose lives are much better today because of the very laws that have been implemented to try and level the playing field. Our very constitution that all of us celebrate. I mean, the Bill of Rights. The first of the Bill of Rights is equality. The founding provisions of Chapter 1 of the Constitution, they provide for a democratic state which is founded, among other things, the achievement of equality and the advancement of human rights and freedoms. So, remedial action based on race, gender, disability, you name it, all of that is constitutionally permissible. 10 minutes before 10.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
6 minutes before 10 o'clock. We're still trying to get a hold of Solidarity. I'm trying to get proof that they have gone through the outdoor advertising unit. They've interacted with the Department of Development Planning, and they've made the necessary payments because that's what they've claimed. So we're still trying to get a hold of them. We're not winning, but as soon as we do, I'll bring them on the radio. Sean, you're calling us from Johannesburg. You run a media business, I understand. Go ahead. Good morning.
Morning. Yeah, so I think both sides of the story are possibly true. JMPD probably doesn't have any, or the outdoor advertising and Department of Planning doesn't have any application from Solidarity because it wouldn't have been made by them. It would have been made by a company that actually applied to own a JPC asset. So those sites on the side of the M1 sit under the JRA, which is managed by Joburg Property Company. And they would have had, given a business like myself, a media owner, the rights to have a structure there. But I don't think that that's a legal structure. So Solidarity would have paid the media company for the rights to be on that site, but that's an illegal structure. So JMPD had every right to take it down.
Sean, thank you. I'm in Johannesburg. Let's go to WhatsApp on 072-702-1702.
Hi, Clement. This is Cyril Tutuman. Clement, really, but why? Yeah, I understand all their frustrations, but why do it now? You know, we have problems enough now with Trump in America because of this Solidarity and AfriForum. But you know what? This government must wake up as well and try to give service to the people of this country equally.
I mean, the reason why people were putting these banners without consulting the bylaws is because the city of Johannesburg neglected these bylaws for a long time. So people think it's free for all. It's a good thing that they've removed. They must follow the law. And there must be sanctions as well for these people who are doing this. The city of Johannesburg must sustain this thing and not compromise at all. Sindile.
Morning, Clement. You know what? These racists want to make a statement. JMPD and Panyaza, whoever, must also make a statement of their own of intolerance. Remove these nonsensical banners. We will deal with the legalities once the G20 summit is over. We must stifle racists and not give them room to breathe. Bopelo from Binoni.
Hi, Clement. Just one thought. For the rule of law to be the rule of law, it has to be the same for everyone. Is the banner that AfriForum and Solidarity put up, is it any less constitutionally correct than singing Kill the Boer, Shoot the Boer, which was deemed by the courts to not be unconstitutional? It's not against the law to sing that. So is this banner worse than that we need to pull it down? Just a thought.
Good morning, Clement. Danny here from Midrand. Look, I think JMPD flopil. I mean, they failed to stop this before it went up to the highway. So it's pointless for them to remove it now. And clearly, somebody somewhere is not doing their jobs accurately because they could have seen this before it went out and they could have dealt with it then. You know, we already know that Solidarity does not have any good intentions for Black South Africans.